Here with reaction, the author of the best-selling book, Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War, the Make America Great Again coalition chief strategist and former deputy assistant to President Trump, Sebastian Gorka, and civil rights attorney, Daryl Parks. You know, Daryl, we were on the other side of a lot of these stories. Put aside the Trayvon Martin case for a minute because it didn't involve the police. But the whole narrative out of Ferguson was predicated on a lie. Hands up, don't shoot. It didn't happen. And we know it didn't happen because the people that testified, the eyewitnesses, saw Michael Brown reach into the car of Officer Wilson, try and grab his gun, and then later charge at him. And the people that said that were predominantly African-American witnesses. You know what? Why is there this rush to judgment anytime it's a whole high-profile police case? Obama was more guilty than anybody I've ever seen.
Well, let me say to you, Sean, I think this week, though, is not about those issues we've seen in the past. This issue today is about 500 Americans who were shot.
I'm talking about we don't remember
when
it matters. These guys don't get the presumption of innocence, Daryl, like in the case of Michael Brown.
Well, but I think in this case here, though, we've seen something totally different. We've seen many people lose their lives this week, and our hearts definitely go out to all of those families. This is a time that we got to talk about assault weapons in this country. Did you listen to that gunfire we just heard on your show? I mean, every time I hear that film footage and hear those sounds, it means we got to have a serious conversation in this country about how do we address this issue when we see people lose so many lives we lost this week. We have to answer. There must be a solution. The president has the answer. The Congress has the answer. There has to be a solution from our public servants. We can't stand for this. We can't stand for this.
Sebastian, I just kind of know. I can see it happen. And, you know, today actually happens to be, I begin my 23rd year now on the Fox News Channel.
Congratulations.
I've covered so many of these cases over the years. Thank you. Nobody ever thought I'd be here at this point, trust me, when I started. I've seen so many of these cases. And you know what? It happens again and again, Dr. Gorka. It's predictable.
Sean, I'd like to issue a challenge to Mr. Parks, Colin Kaepernick, any Democrat demagogue, anybody out there, any American. I want you to show me one instance from last Sunday in Las Vegas where an American peace officer, a police officer, as the bullets were flying, stopped and said to an African American lying on the ground, "Sorry, I'm not going to help you. I hate you because of your skin color." You'll never find it. You'll never find one peace officer in America who did that. Because what you saw on Sunday night is what makes America great. You saw Americans helping each other, vets, nurses, people who don't know anything about combat, saving each other's lives when the stakes were the highest possible. I think your monologue is right. Let's forget about the politics. Let's forget about the NRA versus Hillary Clinton versus anybody else right now. Let's use Las Vegas to come together as a nation. We had 8 years of divisiveness. We had an administration that looked at all of us, me, you, the viewers, Mr. Parks, first based upon their skin color, then their ethnic background, then their sexual preference. That's un-American. We don't look at each other as categories. We look at each other as human beings and as Americans. I think it's time for all of us to come together as Americans, to respect the flag, to respect the national anthem, and understand Las Vegas is the best of us.
I know everyone's saying, oh, we can't talk about guns. I have the gun debate. I have a question for you. So if somebody,
yes.
I know a lot of these celebrities and a lot of these politicians, you know, they have their gated communities and these late night hosts, they have their bodyguards in their studios and they're protected at the Oscars and at the Emmys and all their self-congratulatory parties that they have on the red carpet every year. But for the average person, the only defense they have is themselves. So those people that want gun control are talking about abolishing the Second Amendment. Let me ask you what you would do. God forbid, for anybody, somebody breaks into your house, Daryl Parks, late at night. Would you rather be trained in the use of a firearm and have that firearm available to protect your family, your wife, your kids, the people you love and care about the most?
Well, Sean, I happen to be a gun owner. Actually, I was trained in gun safety from the 5th grade by my Boy Scout troop. So I've
the answer is yes.
Been a user of guns for a long time. Yes, of course. Of course.
All right, but then,
without question.
Then
but we're talking
all
about
these people that are saying the opposite all week, you said, let's talk about guns. You know, the average American doesn't have armed bodyguards. They don't have gated compounds that they're living in like all these celebrities that are lecturing everybody.
But Sean, here's the difference, though. We're talking about an assault rifle. Assault rifles are meant to kill great numbers of people. That's the conversation that we have to have. That's the gorilla that's in the room that we have to talk about. Trust me, the 500 people who got shot by this guy had a regular gun,
made a concession
there wouldn't
this
be
week.
500 people.
They're not advocating for... The NRA is talking about getting rid of the ability to turn this into, from a single shot into, you know, a rapid fire, almost rapid fire gun. We'll give you the last word, Dr. Gorka.
Sean, I learned to shoot as soon as I could pick up a gun. My father escaped a communist dictatorship. The Second Amendment isn't about hunting. It's not even about personal self-defense. I carry a gun. I'm licensed to do so. But it's about the ultimate guarantee against a tyrannical regime. It is the ultimate guarantee for freedom, democracy, and liberty. That's why every dictatorial regime, from Hitler to Mao, disarmed their citizens before they took over. That's the bottom line, and that's why the Second Amendment is non-negotiable.
I don't know if any of our framers or founders ever talked about hunting. That's exactly what they were talking about. Thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it. When we come